Yonkers Avenue. I did put already, it's only been seconds into this live, I have already thought about any potential leg work because my inner thighs are already fried right now, right? I'm not even talking about just on the top inner thigh area. No, I'm talking about on the side, in between, middle, like especially the middle. You know how that feels crummy right there, you know? So it's one of those things. I can't stretch it, I can't do anything. So I'm just gonna keep going because it's so deep that it's like, what are you gonna, like, okay, you can go deep on the squat, and then as a result, are you really gonna get your groin? No, to get your groin, you probably have to do some sort of step up, you know, like a nice inclined step up. So for me, I'm not necessarily doing step ups. I could, but I'm doing split squats, which do have some bearing on the area, but not like step ups, I would say, especially weighted step ups, you know. But those are good because it makes your passageway strong, you know. I'm talking about like in the inner crevices of your quadriceps, right? So when you do a weighted step up, it's like, yeah, of course it works your glutes, your hamstrings, and your calves, and your core, and everything. But that inner area of your upper quadricep, right there, where like latches into the end area of your hip, like from the inside on the top, that is right there what you're getting out of weighted, you know, step ups. Weighted step ups are awesome for that type of stabilization because you can also, you can do jumps. I'm not saying like your area is going to get extra like massive as a result of doing jumps. In fact, you'll probably be like more slim, right, in that area. But if you do weighted stuff, like if you hold a bar, right, whatever the weight is, put it on your back, like you're about to do a back squat, and that's the weight you carry. You know, I'm not talking about just a weighted like a weighted a vest. No, I'm not talking, because that's good too, right? Don't get me wrong. But you should put the vest on and then put the bar over the vest on your back, right? So whatever the weight is that you're carrying, right? Let's just say you have the vest on too, right? A 15-pound vest, right? A nice flat vest, 15 pounds, right? We're not even going for the 10 or the 20, we're going with the 15. 15 pounds on your shoulders, on your frame, that is, on your back, across your chest and your ribs. You got 15 pounds on, right? And then on top of the 15 pounds, you put the bar on your back, like whatever your weight is. Now you have the vest on and you have the weight, right? So now when you do that type of work, now that's the weight you carry around, right? You take that bar on top of that vest that you now carry, all that weight, right? Every second that goes by now, you feeling it. Like you feel like you're actually breathing heavier now, right? You're not even doing anything. You just you just have this vest on, right? So you just have this vest but you have the bar, whatever your weight is, right? You have the bar on your back. So now it's like, you know, if you've been holding that, let's just say you didn't even start a workout or anything, right? You've just been holding it. So you've been holding it for like 3 minutes now straight, right? And then as a result of you holding that for 3 minutes, now you like are actually paying attention to yourself breathe, right? And you're starting to like actually listen to your breaths, right? So now you're like every breath you take while you're still holding this thing on your back with the vest on, right? You got to make sure it's already like almost 5 minutes now, right? And or a little over 5 minutes. And then in 5 minutes time, you still haven't started your workout because you're just like caught up in the wave, and you have this bar on your back, whatever your weight is, over the vest, and you are now paying attention to yourself breathe. Can you take the focus off yourself breathing for a moment and actually get ready to like just drop everything? And if you are able to drop everything, right? Are you then also able to put weights on that you've been had all this time and do step-ups? Because if that's what you do with the vest on and the weight of a bar with whatever weight of your selection, your choice over the vest, and you do step-ups, that area is probably going to get thicker. It's going to get more massive. The musculature and just the general weight and size around that area is going to be dense. It's going to be more dense. Okay, so just putting that out there, because if you play basketball, for example, if you do sprints and jumps, flips, the area is going to be more conditioned. It's going to be more worked. You can tell it's worked, but it's not going to be thicker. You feel me? It's going to be probably like much more slim. Wow, this view right here is pretty clear. I'm not gonna front. Usually this is pretty blurry. Today we're rolling real clear. It's a good thing, you know? But other than the clarity, because the glass, the windshield could be cleaner, so that it's even clearer, and the lenses of this phone could also be a little, you know, spiffed up, which would be like crystal. But then it might be so crystal that it like squeaks your eyes, you know, and that might be something that you're not so fond of. So we're gonna keep it moving with the almost 4, we'll just say almost 3:45 rhythm that we got going at almost 3:45, which is, we have to think, are we quite able to just stop, you know, just chill out, stop everything, hop out, and get your legs. Keep going. We're getting closer, getting closer. We are definitely getting closer. So that's a good thing. Well, I'm glad it's past spooky season, because now that we're done with that, we can get spooky every single day. Why just on one specific, or a prolonged one specific day, when we could get spooky for days, weeks, months? We could get real spooky. Oh no. We could get, look, the moon is also trying to make a chilling entrance. You know why? Because the universe is watching. And when it's paying attention with that type of strength, if you look, you could look, just look up, look up to your left, right? Pay attention to that. Now, if you can, like, try and sense how strong that energy is right there, right? Whatever that energy is right there, that force of energy, pay attention to how strong it is. And then make a determination and say, when it's right here in front of you like that, you know it's paying attention. Whatever that energy is it's on Front Street. So whatever your definition of that is, make sure you say right now what that is, because I don't get answers whenever I ask this question. Okay? When it pays attention to you, you pay attention to it. Because you could literally make it come right to your face. The energy is strong. I'm just saying. So I think we're pretty good. I got another 25. I think I got another 20. I think I actually am far past what I was supposed to get, but I think I'm gonna get another 25 and probably some more seated, probably some more lunges. I'm not doing jump work right now because the groin hurting. So yeah, in fact, I'm gonna like try and do some stretching. Stretching is called right now. You know, I'm not gonna front. I'm gonna probably do some more work first, and then we're gonna get some stretching in. Stretching is beautiful. Why? Because when you stretch, you elongate your muscles. And then not only does that feel better, it also lengthens the way the appearance of the musculature is presented. So now it's symmetrical in a more pleasing aesthetic manner. So the presentation, because of the elongation, is more elegant. And it doesn't have to be any type of exact categorization. It's more elegant because its natural beauty is displayed. So that's always a good thing. So point being, it's a beautiful thing to stretch, you know? It's awesome to also be tight, you know? And probably everything to some sort of whatever your levels are, whatever your boundaries are, your limitations, your restrictions that you want to put on yourself, or like wherever you want to limit yourself, or wherever you want to parlay at, wherever you want to chill at, wherever you want to maintain at. It could really be anything, especially after you get to certain levels. So I wish you all high levels, because it definitely beats being at lower levels when you're maintaining at high levels. You feel me? So maintain high levels. Like, you know how when we were younger, everyone would be like, maintain high grades? That's the equivalent right there, right? Maintain high levels. So make sure your grades are high and you're keeping them high and you maintain that, right? So now we're just applying, instead of just like school subjects, we apply it to life lessons and experiences. So when we out here, like right now, we in Yonkers, right? Yonkers, New York, United States of America. We're here cruising through these streets, and they show you glimpses of the experiences and lessons that are necessary for us to have. We out here. How many times, how many exact times, like I wonder if you were to count them, must you hear me say, we out here? Because we are out here. Yeah, that moon, like nobody has an answer for me because I keep posing the same question right here, right here, right here. How do you explain that energy right there? How do you explain that energy right there? Somebody explain it to me. How do you explain that energy right there? The focus is on you. If you look into yourself to focus on that energy, it's on you right now. How do you explain that? The focus is on you. Nepperhan. Old Nepperhan is up further. Got Orchard. You know. Got a lot of beautiful blocks and streets out here. They are like lake. They are memories of a very wonderful place. You know? There are a lot, I would say there are a lot of wonderful places out here on earth. You know? And a lot of these places deserve their respect. Doesn't matter what you think about like how you are, you know, because every place has their own type of life, beings, you know. So where there's life, there's individuality. So being able to understand that and allowing individuality to be is probably a better place to be than being mentally captivated. Because captivation or being captivated is very similar to being enclosed, you know? I would like to have a lizard less in a terrarium, more on the walls, right? Especially like a Geico gecko, right? Just make sure like there are plants. The only thing is, instead of having plants in pots, I would want them just growing into the ground. And if they're growing into the ground and they're growing all over the walls, now you are like gaining, how do you say? As long as these remain like houseplants, once they start growing into the surfaces and structures of the actual crib itself, now they are gaining so-called ground, or so to say. Like they are literally now encompassing your existence with you, right? Because you got to think about the way they are. They don't move, like they're just stationary. So they have to gain ground some sort of way. And the way to do that is you got to not bother them too much. So like when they start rooting, for example, like if the roots come out of the soil, if the roots are coming out of the pot, if the roots are spreading over areas and that are displayed, you must not touch them or bother them, because that prevents them from wanting to spread it doesn't make them feel comfortable to continue to spread their so-called arms. Like they need to be able to, especially if they are like vine-like or creeping, right? They need to, it's almost like a sense of touch where they need to like push forward and make sure it's safe. And if you're over here bothering their rooting systems, now it's like, imagine they're like really delicate and they're trying to feel their ways forward. And then you like remove their sensory systems, or you at least like tamper with their systems of sensory, and that makes them feel very uncomfortable. So like you'll see very hardy species like not philodendron, pothos, right? If you take pothos, for example, it could be variegated. It could be any type. It could be one from like Brazil. It could be a more zone species. Take any type of pothos, and it could be like some of the giant ones from like the tropics. You'll find them in southern Florida, right? Take a giant pothos, for example. Let's just say perfect species, because a giant pothos from the tropics, you're gonna think it's like a normal one. You're gonna confuse it and mistake it to be a regular one. For a while, they will front. You know how like certain animals can camouflage themselves and change colors? Well, and you know, you've seen that with plants, obviously autumn, but like some plants can actually make changes themselves in real time as like defense mechanisms, you know? And I'm not just talking about like you touch them and they close. No, I'm talking about like they will stay stunted in the size of how they actually, you know how like a flower blossoms, but this is more like how a leaf opens its and stretches itself fully to like its adult size, right? So it will stay small and you will think it's a regular pothos, but in actuality, it's a giant pothos that doesn't feel comfortable to fully open its leaves up. It's almost like a fish that is not getting to its proper adult size because it's whether it's being stunted, forced by like the size of where it's breathing, it's kind of bringing that stress to itself, and it's preventing it from kind of maturing and developing properly, you know? It is kind of sad if you think about it. But I must say, pothos is the same way, which is kind of sad too. But you can overcome the lack, because with, fortunately and unfortunately for fish, because they're stuck inside their terrariums, right? Or not terrariums, but aquariums, right? So like, unless you change the aquarium or put them in some sort of a pond or some sort of large enclosure or stream or lake or river-like area, they're gonna feel trapped, right? They're gonna feel like that's a lot of stress, so they will probably get stunted. So with a plant that's easy to raise and take care of, like pothos, it's almost one of the most, in my humble opinion, one of the most easiest plants to possibly take care of, other than like maybe a snake plant. But like, this is for a creeping vine-like plant, pothos is probably the easiest. right? So the point here is, if you bother their sensory systems, you are going to make them not feel comfortable, to want to stretch out and like almost display how vibrant they feel. Like, you're not gonna see them with their motherfucking meat out. And this pertains to like women too, to ladies. Like, you got your legs spread, you meat out. How? Like in the sun too. You don't gotta worry about anyone around you. One of those types. Like, these plants want to feel the same way, with some sort of sun on them, and they are able to have their leaves out. You feel me? Like in full splendor. But they're not gonna do that unless they feel ultra comfortable. And if you're screwing with their sensory systems, which is how they move around, they're not gonna bloom. And I'm not talking about flowers neither. I'm talking about just their leaves. They're not gonna bloom their leaves. You gotta leave them alone, not touch them. Like, you can talk to them, you can breathe near them without being obnoxious, you can feed them, you can provide hydration, you can mist them, but don't really touch them. Like, or if you touch them, be extra, extra, extra gentle. But when it comes to like moving them, don't do it. You're gonna like ruin their comfort levels. Like, they're not gonna feel like they want to spread. So it's important, you know, pothos especially, because it's already easy to take care of this plant, right? So now if you wanted to get like I said, like actually displaying in full splendor, and we're just talking about leaves, right? Maybe some flowers will come also. But as far as the leaves, leave them alone. Just make sure, you know, they don't even require much. Like, and they can grow in water. And you can dry them out a little bit. Like, it's very little. And they could spread around your whole crib, if you think about it, right? Just leave them alone, and they'll start tentacling out like all over your walls. Like, they might just climb the ceilings, right? As long as there's like a heat source, like a sun source somewhere on their bodies, and especially if they have multiple sun sources, where it's like, okay, the leaves get a little sun here, near the rooting system gets a little sun there. This area is good for me as a plant to want to kind of reach closer, near, because there's more sun there as well. When it's those types of things, plus, you know, some good hydration, some feeding every now and then. Yo, you know what's crazy? I've been talking for almost like a half hour straight about, like, I don't know, I think I've hit a couple of topics now, right? So, you know, you were asking, what's your name? Because maybe you found me before on another social media platform for working out and stuff like that. You know, I like to just be energetic, like to bring live energy, you know, because that's what we are as souls out here, you know. And we speak universal languages through energy, and our energy is something furious. That the force of Yoda's is how furious it is. But we have a different spirit. You seen how the moon was bringing its energy. I questioned the whole live. I was asking the live, what is that energy? Because no one seems to have answers here when I pose that question, you know? Because especially when that energy is grilling you, it's in your grill. And then I ask the question, How do you explain it? Like, that energy is straight up on you, full attention. How do you explain it? I ask the question, and I don't get answers. So, I mean, what do you want me to do after that point, right? Because I'm straight up questioning exactly what's happening as it's happening live, and we're doing a live at the same time. And I'm asking the question, and no answers. So, I mean, 31 minutes straight, I'd be continuing. And I asked the question over and over while I was having dialogue speaking about multiple different topics, right? But I don't know. Maybe folks are a little nervous, and that's okay. Because if you're nervous, you finally met an entity that is so strong that it makes you feel like, I ain't fucking with that. I ain't messing with it. But I still want to ask the question, how do you explain that? Go. You go. How do you explain it? Well, I'll tell you how I explain it. I explain it in such a way where I'm able to continue with the dialogue about multiple topics and still, because I kind of like, if I'm going to be completely real, I got all the quad work in already. Literally on this stream, I hopped out the whip. Like, boom, let me give you at least a 25 clip. I'm not 100% sure if I hit a 50 or not, but I hit you with the quarter and came right back in the whip. So at this point, quads are decent, but what's missing, what's lacking, because we are going to make sure not only is symmetry clean, right? Because symmetry has to be pleasing as far as aesthetically. However, for fully functional purposes, you additionally have to make sure, you have to ensure your imbalances are not ever anywhere near the surface. What does that mean? That means if you're gonna do the front, you have to hit the posterior as well. Right? You have to hit the back. Just get them in. Keep going. You're not just gonna get the fronts. You're not just gonna get the fronts. Keep going. Okay. Felt pretty good. Yeah. So, like that, you get some more work in and you continue as we tour on live. Soul is in this, and we make sure we take care of our breathing, right? Because your resting heart should be in a comfortable zone, right? We're talking about like 50 is good, 40 something is great, and anywhere in the 40s is a dynamite range to be. Like, I don't think, I'm not gonna say anything is not necessary, right? If you want to be in the 30s, right, that's some work. That's some work, right? But you have to also balance like your joints, right? Your cartilage, like everything has to be, like, if you're putting work in, you have to make sure everything is balanced properly, right? Because that's exactly why I did the hammies just now on the split squats, right? Because if you're working the quads, you don't want muscular imbalance, so you work the back as well. So now when you work the front and the rear, right, the anterior and the posterior, you're now good because there aren't muscular balances. So what's next? The glutes, obviously, right? If we hit calves, we hit the bottom, the soleus. We went up a little bit to the gastrocs, right? We didn't really hit tibialis in the front, but we hit hammies, right? We hit quads. Now what's left? Glutes. So in order to get glutes, what do we have to do? Well, we have to find a little, let's say a bench would be ideal. And if we find a bench, then we are going to do hip thrusts, right? I wish I had weight. If I had some sort of weight, like you could be sitting on me right now. You could be sitting on my lap, and I will hop out right there where that bench is, and we will get it. We will get it. Or how about that bench? Right? Yeah, we'll get it. That bench is fine. Right? Or we'll get it right here. Get it right here. Remember, you want to protect your breathing, right? Your resting heart rate. So, you're out here, right? It's got to be like 4 in the morning right now, you know? So, like, what do people do at 4 in the morning? This is New York. This is Yonkers, New York right now, Westchester County. And I'm literally broadcasting to you live at 4 in the morning, twilight hours, right at the base of a graveyard, right out here on Sawmill River Road in Axminster, right? Yeah, Axminster Street. That's the cemetery. We can go in the graveyard. Is that what you want? Look, I'm gonna do these, and we can go right in to see what we're looking for, right? Don't get, I told you it gets spooky, right? So now don't get all scary because you don't want to go where you don't want to be spooked out. You see how that goes now? You gotta squeeze. We're not just doing this to just spend time out here, because there's no weight, so we got to get busy. Because you know what it is? It's my groin is like sore on both sides, so I'm trying to squeeze my glutes, but through the pain of my inner thighs, so I can focus on my glutes. It's tough. I just keep feeling like my groin. It's all good. We get some work in, you know? We get some work in. I mean, I do think that's what it's all about, you know? Is getting work in. Is getting work in. I'm hungry now. I'm not gonna front. Shit, what else do we have to do? We have to get more glutes. That's not enough. I was just, oh, the graveyard. That's where you were thinking about, huh? You were thinking about the graveyard, weren't you? Okay. Why do you folks like doing things like this? I tell you I'm in Yonkers on Sawmill River Road and Axminster, you know? And Axminster, and this is the graveyard right here. So, what's up? Huh? It's the cemetery right here. What's up? Where y'all wanna go? Where y'all feel like going? At 4 in the morning. Where we headed to? Cause it could get real delightful. Or did you prefer that we stay in the 3 o'clock zone because it was like less of a deeper into the twilight hours? Did it feel lighter at 3 or did it feel more spooky? Or like, should we go right into the cemetery at 4 in the morning? Hop the fence, you know, you see the crosses and all that. Like, it's really popping though. St. John's? You see what it is? What's up? Huh? What's up, y'all? Man, bunch of spooked out folks. He wasn't trying to see the fence hop into the cemetery near Getty Square, like owned property. Nah, he wasn't trying to see all that. Like I said, I was gonna get on the park bench, and I was gonna, you know, hit the glutes, which I did. Was it like extra strong and deep? No, there's the damn injury in the way. I'm having injury after injury after injury. Some of them aren't as like deep and serious as maybe others, but like some of them are just like extra sore tears. But other than that, like we out here, you know. Like I said, how many times I gotta say it? We out here. We out here. You know, a lot of cameras watching you while you watch them. Feel me? We doing this live. Like who they looking at? Huh? Exactly who are they looking at? Look like a mean eyeball too, right? Then grilling you like one of them puffed out eyes. Like, damn, where your eyelids at? You know? Just straight black puke, like they like marbles, like big ass marbles looking at you like, what is going on here? Yeah. This yellow right here make me feel like I gotta scale it. How do I scale it? Like, how do I climb up there? How do I climb up there? You know? Like, how do I make that move? Be thinking some wild thoughts, right? Like, imagine just taking a walk out here and having wild thoughts about scaling buildings, like at 4 in the morning. Like, what are we doing? Because it's yellow and black and not in the reverse above the water, it makes you want to scale them. It makes you want to climb to the top of where it feels breezy out here, where the water is moving. How will we, wow, like if y'all feel what I feel, like it's like the wind is kicking up from a lower breathing area of the city here in Yonkers. And it's breezy. It's like cold air is kicking here in like it's almost like a basement area of the entire city, right? And it's underneath this building right here. But there's wind kicking up. That's crazy. I wonder if there's fish down there, you know? Probably be some fish, some fishing spiders that catch those fish, and then probably other insects and whatnot if you think about it, because literally, legit under this building, like it's, you could expect some wild things to be underneath a building, especially when there's water, there are plants, and there's like a strong breeze. So that's telling me this is a network. Like this is a system that is like, it's got some reach, because the way the air is kicking up right here, that is mean. Like I'm talking about, I'm walking out here above, ground, above water. It's like there's no air like this out here. But this air is just coming from under the building. So it's like, that's different. I don't even know how to explain that. I literally just spent like 5 minutes talking about that, you know? But here's what I'm talking about. Like, it's straight up like a tunnel. It's like a mean system. And the air is something like you could see, look at the, it doesn't do justice of like how much air is actually kicking up. The breeze is beyond a breeze and it's brisk, but there's up here, there's no air. But as soon as you stay right here in the middle on either side, it's like, it's pretty, it's kind of like it's slapping me. Like my face is getting smacked with a cold, persistent breeze, you know? And like, I would think, okay, what do y'all want to do? Y'all want to go to the cemetery? See if like they have a breeze over there that's beating this? I doubt it, because I don't know how this air is moving like this, but we go right into the cemetery and see what's in there. See what kind of like air is in that area. We'll go deep into the cemetery. And then the deeper we go into the cemetery, we could explain how the energy is feeling different, right? Like if the air that's being, like I'm breathing, right? So I'm gonna express like what's happening as it happens. So if, you have proper technology to make it happen, like I think we're in a pretty good state right here, the way we are. Look, there's something moving right there, and it just pooped. And I think it's a pigeon, maybe. Like there's two of them, and they just chilling. So yeah, you gotta think they're probably like cold. I mean, I know they got feathers and all, but it is chilly out here. I ain't gonna front. It's chilly because of that wind. But like I said, once you get away from that tunnel, it's still, like the air is still, it's completely like stationary. So even if it's cold out here, like 40 some degrees, you don't feel it biting because the air is still. But that tunnel underneath this area where the water is at, that shit is blowing. I don't know. That's one of those things that's like, are we gonna talk about like where that tunnel system, like how far does it go? You know, does it go all the way to the spring? Does it go to the reservoir? Meaning from here, which is Nepperhan and Axminster, right? From here, from Nepperhan, all the way to Tuckahoe. Because that's what I think is happening. I think this is the section of that tunnel that, if that's the case, that water line could be coming all the way from, I'm trying to think if it's connected to like further up Westchester, because that air is something fierce. I just want to see, look, Homesite Parkway, okay? Homesite Parkway. I just want to make a visualization about how deep that passageway can actually be. And if it's deep, deep, yeah, because this is a huge storage building, like ridiculously big. You know, people pack their stuff in here, and what? You know, there's a lot of people packing their stuff in storage in a place this big. What? Come on now. You know, there's a lot of people packing their stuff in places this big. Yo, I don't think I'm going any further. That's pretty decent. I had a nice feel of the guttural breathing passageway of Yonkers coming from the bottom of the water out here, where it's like the Hudson River may just also run the length of Yonkers through the Springbrook Parkway into the Bronx River Parkway, right? So as far as this cemetery is concerned, y'all be bugging. Y'all be trying to like, I don't even understand why y'all even having thoughts like that. Like, why are we trying to go into the cemetery at like 4 o'clock in the morning? Like, what exactly is the purpose here? Like, are you just trying to like extend spooky season just because there's a cemetery here? And just because we discovered the guttural water passageway basement system of Yonkers right in that street right there. Look, we go right back into it. We go right back and further investigate that breathing system of Yonkers, because that breathing system makes me feel like, yo, what are we? Like, I might just hop on a raft. Like, you know, blow that thing up, make sure it's fully able to be ridden, put that raft on the water. You know, I might have a little nice little jumpsuit, a little a little water jump off. Might go up to like my chest. It looked like, a farmer's overalls, but they're actually waterproof, the boots and everything, and then hold that on my body and have a little top ready, you know, and then just chill on top of the raft. And then once we're on top of the raft, we could keep it on live as well. Look, there go that eyeball again. There go that eyeball straight up grilling you. Where your eyelids at? This shit looking at you. Look how it's grilling you. That's crazy. No eyelid having, you know? Uh-oh, I feel it. I feel the air from here. Look at the distance to where that bridge is at. I could feel the air from here. It's already like many degrees colder. And yes, you know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about how yesterday I had a mean meal. Mean meal. It was too big, but I just killed it anyways. Mean meal. Straight up whole bag of hemp seeds and a whole carton of unsweetened almond milk, right? With no additives, meaning just plain, no calcium added, no vitamins enriched, just plain, right? And I busted that thing down with some with some chestnuts. So basically, the bag of hemp seeds, the small carton of unsweetened almond milk, no vitamins and no minerals added, plain, unsweetened, with the chestnuts. Yo, when I tell you, I not only bust that thing down, that thing was bust. That thing was good. It was good. Now it feels better actually. It feels serene. I don't know if, the city is just breathing like it's resting right now, maybe. Because it's not fierce. It feels very pleasant, actually. And what's amazing about this is it's live. This is why we do it. Like, where are you going to get that from a tourist type of clip? They're not going to do lives anyways, a lot of them. But I'm just saying, like, if it was a shorts or a video, like, how you going to get this? Straight up going to the cemetery from here. Like, stop playing. They can't replicate that. Well, about to make an hour straight, I think I still have to get push-ups. Look. Yeah. We gotta keep it going, you know? We gotta keep it going. Yeah, we're going a little deeper now. Let's see what we get into. And I'm not just repeating things. I'm chilling because we're just exploring, you know? I still gotta get more of those and push-ups. 3 sets of kicks. Ooh, we're in a nice lower round. You know? A nice lower round. Look, this is a nice section. You see the cut back here? I don't want to intrude while trucks are in and out. But I could tell you one thing, right? Right here, if I could be 100%, is an energy that's, if you notice, right? When I went to the cemetery, I was quick to get to the cemetery, right? I came right here, the energy's different. Like, the cemetery I go into, right here, probably not. It's like the business that's being tended to is not my business. So, you know, I'm just trying to, that's a big leaf. Okay? You see where we just came from, right? From Sawmill, River Road to Nepperhan. We cut right through with all of that we just took. Like I said, the business, it's not just I don't know. Like when you just have, you know, that's what they call your gut instinct. Tell you, you know, business is being tended to is not my business. But the cemetery, I will. That's why you always have to be in tune, you know? You always gotta do your best. It's just, like, I'd rather jump on a raft, get down into the breathing channel, and just ride that raft to where it takes us. You know, like I said, have my little coveralls on, it'll go up to my chest, almost to my shoulders, you know, and from there, stay on top of the raft, let that thing fly, let it go, see where it takes us. It might take us south, it might take us to White Plains. Max is 30,000 pounds right here. That seems like a lot of weight. 30,000? 30,000 pounds? It's a good thing that the garbage is being utilized. That's a good thing. Again, underneath this building, is that like the starting calling sound of his profession to whomever he's calling? Very serene. The business being tended to is not my business. You feel me? The business being tended to is not my business. Wow, we're definitely over an hour. I think the longest live I've ever done is probably close to an hour and a half. You know, there'll be one day, sometime in the future, where I'm just having so much fun, just doing something. You know, this is fun too, just doing nothing, just roaming around, exploring, learning things, right? We just went from Sawmill River Road to Napperhan, cutting through this storage site and seeing like where the islands at, you know, like black marble balls grilling at you, and you know, get an opportunity to knock out a set of handstands. It's always a positive thing, you know. You got to take your opportunities when you get them, you know, and then you take full advantage of what you can. Like I said, I had to get another set in, but not only that, I also have to do push-ups, so it's more than just these dropping things. Feels pretty good, you know. Still gotta get more. These are constant missions that we just gotta keep making it happen for ourselves. We gotta keep going through them. Probably get a little bit more with handstands and probably get a little bit more with push-ups, right? I was doing kind of like I was doing push-ups that were on incline, so it's not really that feels much better. I'm not gonna lie, that felt way better. So now, am I gonna get more? I don't feel the necessity like I was before. I was like, I gotta get handstands. Now I feel like a little bit more of I still need push-ups left, you know? So once those push-ups are done, then it's like I could, even though I have a little still bouncing back off this, like there's multiple injuries going on right now at the same time, right? Which I'm healing from. But the back one, which was on the Christmas tree itself, was the one that was like, that's one of those like when you feel the shocking electrical voltage going through like a certain specific area of your body. Yeah, that like warm fuzzy feeling, but you know it's way worse than that nice little cozy feeling you felt when it shocked through. No, it's about to be a doozy, right? Like it's gonna be days, if not weeks, before that thing finally fully lets up. And I just, even though I'm able to do these things, I'm very aware of how not to further aggravate anything. So yeah, I would like a better, I would think like glute activation, because like I said, my groin's hurting. So trying to go around that and get glute activation is like hard, because when you squeeze, you're squeezing from like inside your groin to a degree. Like, yeah, you could focus more towards the back, but like you're squeezing from like inside. So if like your hip flexors and your groin, your whole pelvic area, like deep, is like kind of hurting or sore, it's like, damn, it's tough to go around that and squeeze your glutes, you know? So that's kind of like what I'm faced with. I'm definitely gonna do some more glutes. Boom, right? And then we're also going to do some dips. We'll start with dips. All right, we'll start with this. Let this call go. You know? Let this call go. Okay. Start with dips, right? This is how we make missions happen. Yeah, I know I'm over an hour straight. And what? I go 2 hours straight. What? We might just go 4 hours straight. And we could still go into the cemetery. But why? Why though? Just just cause down there, the business being tended to was none of my business. But in the cemetery, even if it feels a little dark, it feels a lot more, I'm not gonna say welcoming, but it feels like less I have to be on guard, you know? Like less I have to be like paying very close attention to what's happening, you know? So it's one of those type of things. I'm not saying like whatever is in a cemetery doesn't have its own realm of, you know, like you should be able to pay close attention to your surroundings as well, but I'm just saying, like, I wouldn't mind seeing how the foliage is in the most color-suited ways that autumn has to show us what it's providing in the cemetery grounds with these trees, you know? Yeah, that felt pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. That felt actually really good. The market's looking healthy right now. What? I know I'm like speaking, I'm not purposely speaking in like a sarcastic manner. I'm speaking in a like, if you were an investor and you were thinking strategically, right now you would think it's looking healthy. Like when I say healthy, I mean like, you know how like if you're looking at a nice butt, you're like, that thing is looking scrumptious, like yummy, like healthy, like it's looking good, you know? So if you're strategic as an investor, you be like, that thing looking healthy right now, you know, even though it's like, it's hard for many, it's healthy. If you're, you know, if you're really trying to do something. Okay. Felt pretty good. No, I'm not gonna front. Felt not bad. Not bad at all. Okay. The dips really felt good. Dips had me like, wow, I want to do like 100 more of these. But other than that, I think I've pretty much like, what do y'all want to talk about? I'm out here for like an hour, like, yeah, 10 minutes will be an hour and a half straight. Like we burrowing into the like the dungeons of Yonkers out here, like straight up, like the pulse of like where the water's at. You feel me? Through underground systems. Like we ain't even just going alongside the Hudson. Nah, we going in through the inner working passageways of the pulse through this city, which is pretty wild. It's pretty ridiculous, you know, that we're still contemplating going into the cemetery. Like, what are we doing? What exactly is the plan here? You know, the plan is stake out the spot. No murder doesn't seem hot. We just out here coming in peace. We bring in joy. You know, I mean, what's next? Huh? What is next is the question. That's what I want to know. What exactly is next? Y'all got me like, I don't know. Y'all got me like mini twisted. $1783. First public burial ground in Yonkers. 1783. There's a lot of dead people in here. Like a lot. Like the first people of this city in Yonkers are in here. They're all in here. We're talking about the first people ever recorded of Yonkers are in here. What do y'all want to do? Like, look, hour and a half in, right? Do we want to pay tributes to the first recorded residents of this city? Or do we want to just allow them to rest? See, this is what I mean by like non-touristy things. Like, how you gonna replicate this if you're not in on the live? Like, we going through spots in YO right now. Like, where y'all wanna go next? Where y'all trying to head to? I bring y'all everywhere. Like, how many bodegas, delis, side blocks, murals, cemeteries, projects, storage houses, shopping centers. Come on, we do this all the time. Where y'all trying to get to next? Y'all trying to see the first people in Yonkers ever? Y'all trying to get up close and personal with them? Like, or you think, like, let's just allow them their rest? Or do you think they want company? Do you think, like, they're always resting anyways? Right? No joke here. I'm not even trying to be funny. I'm just saying, you know? Like, what actually do we know? You know? Do we know that they don't want to have company? You know? And actually do the best you can to engage with them? Because otherwise they'd be like trees, right? They're not moving. At least I don't know. I don't know how they move or they don't. Like, do they stay where they're buried at? Or are they drifting like all around and moving freely? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how that works. Like, would I interact with them? I would interact with them more than I would interact with some humans. You know? So, yeah, I had a great time actually interacting with y'all. I mean, even though this live right here, it was just me touring, you know. Do you think we should use a cane? Like a wild cane? This is a marvelous cane actually. Let's use it like a tree and walk that way. you know? Sometimes you gotta have a cane with you. This little extra arm extension. Because I'm not using it as a crutch, like literally, no. I'm actually using it as a beacon of nature, literally by my side. What are we seeing here now? 125 feet east of this spot stood St. John's Rectory, 1770 to 1845, on land given by Frederick Phillips, 1751, scene of skirmishes, 1778. What does that even mean? Scene of skirmishes? What kind of skirmishes? What happened in 1778? Like, that sounds a little bit like scene of skirmishes. That sounds like very innocent, but it actually feels like it's a lot more to that than just scene of skirmishes, you know? Like, are you saying that people are in this area because of that skirmish or those skirmishes and those scenes? Because that would then imply that those scenes of skirmishes were quite serious, right? So I'm just saying we should definitely be keen to understanding some of the history that went by, because we're in 2020s right now, right? So they're talking about the 1700s. We're not even talking about the 1900s, even the 1800s. No, they're talking about the 1700s. Imagine they were out here, right? The folks, the very first folks of Yonkers, let's say it's 1750 something right now, right? 1755. It is 1755 right now, right? And the first people of Yonkers are out here, right? Imagine I pull up and it's 1755, that's the year, and I pull up. Like, I'm assuming those people speak a certain way, they like dress a certain way, and they are probably going to be perhaps some sort of English or German, and they have probably not had too much experience with anyone other than a few different types of people. So when I pull up and they see me and I got this beard and I got the, you know, I'm not German, and it's 1755, they gonna look at me like, however they speak, and I'm gonna come with the same energy. I'm just gonna bring that positive, powerful, and pure energy, you know? Because whether it's 1755 or 2026 almost, we are gonna make sure we are not engaging in war with anyone. We are out here trying to be the best versions of ourselves to bring that pure vibe to one another. Do you hear the frequencies? Like, do you hear the frequencies? Do you hear? Are you aware? Do you hear? Do you hear? Let's go lower. Let's go lower. Let's go lower. Let's go lower. If you could get like down to your belly button, that would be actually like who wants to get on as a like hop on the live stream and practice. Show folks how you practice your guttural roar. You don't have to roar out neither. Just get low. Get way lower than your diaphragm, right? We're not just talking about from our throats. We're getting lower. We're getting down into deep territories of your belly button. Go low. Go low. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. See, your boy got the cane, you know? The live cane. Well, I don't know how live. It actually kind of feels like it hasn't been dead for long. I'm talking about the wood, right? And it feels pretty sturdy out the front. Feels pretty good. But if we're gonna be out here, right? That is a very strange area to place that. Right? Out here, sometimes you don't know. Because people be engaged in whatever they be engaged in doing. Like I said back there, right? When we were by the Pulse, I was saying, like, the business that's being tended to is not my business, right? So sometimes people be engaged in some odd activities. And sometimes you'll see a bag like that, but the bag is filled with parts. Because sometimes it gets spooky and then people do scary things and then they find them and then it makes the news. And then people hear about scenes of skirmishes from over 150 years ago. So it gets spooky out here, you know? But on that note, I want to thank you all for popping out, chilling with me as we, you know, tour these areas of Yonkers, New York. Till the next time, again, thank you for checking in. Have an amazing